On November 2, 1920, in the small town of Ocoee, Florida, a brutal massacre of African-American citizens ignited during the presidential election. Across several counties in Florida, for weeks right up to Election Day, white supremacists attempted to suppress the voting rights of African Americans. Black Americans were threatened, attacked, and some murdered as they tried to cast their vote. But black residents of Ocoee would face the worst of the brutality involving over 200 enraged citizens. A man by the name of Mose, along with many other black residents of Ocoee, defied the initial threats and made several attempts to vote, which was their constitutional right. But these attempts continually escalated into violence. Norman, angered by the suppression of black rights, returned with a shotgun declaring, "By God, I will vote." But he was attacked and disarmed. The white residents then used Norman's own shotgun to scare him off for the final time. But their anger and hatred persisted, and they organized to hunt down Norman, intending to lynch him. When they got word that he was spotted at the home of July Perry, they gathered a mob of 100 and attacked Perry's home. Perry and other residents defended themselves, killing several of the mob as their home was invaded. Norman was never found, but Perry was eventually caught and lynched. However, the hatred from the white community persisted, and they turned their attention to all of the black residents. The mob grew to 200, and one by one they attacked, sacked, and burned black churches and homes to the ground. Over 20 structures were completely destroyed, and officially up to 35 black residents were killed, though some estimates are as high as 56. Survivors of the massacre fled to nearby towns. Ocoee became a sundown town for decades. It wasn't until 1976, 54 years after the massacre, that African-American residents once again returned to Ocoee. None of the participants of the massacre were ever held responsible. None of the survivors were ever compensated for their losses. November 2, 1920 remains the largest, most violent Election Day incident in American history. If you like my content, hit the like button and subscribe. And also check out my Patreon.